Good afternoon, and welcome to the Office of Economic Development Business Information Session. My name is Margaret McGee, Business Services Manager. Business Services assists entrepreneurs and business owners with starting and growing their businesses. We help navigate the various departments within city government to obtain the necessary permits and licenses. We also connect the business community with organizations that could provide technical assistance, incentives, resources, and other beneficial programs to support business operations. One way we do this is to provide this support by hosting business information sessions. These sessions are held throughout the year, and topics are selected based on feedback from entrepreneurs, surveys, and information we gather from the business community. This session is a part of a three-part series focused on fall festivals, including the National Fried Chicken Festival, the Beignet Fest, Gentilly Fest, Treme Fall Fest, Crescent City Blues and Barbecue Festival, Treme Creole Gumbo Festival, and the NOLA East Festival. If you missed any of the previous recordings or sessions, you can always go back and review them on our YouTube channel. Today we are pleased to welcome Ms. Kia Robinson Hatfield, Director of Programs, Marketing, and Communications with the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation. We also have Ms. Tangi Wall with the NOLA East Economic Development Focus Group, New Orleans East Matters, and Friends of Joe Brown Park. They will provide an overview of their organizations, highlight specific events, and explain the process to become a vendor. As many of you know, vendors' applications often open 6 months or more in advance. So this information will be extremely helpful for planning purposes. Before we begin, just a few housekeeping reminders. To minimize distractions, please turn off your videos and mute your microphones. Please place your questions in the chat box and they will be answered as time permits. All handouts provided will be shared within 24 to 48 hours after the meeting has ended. Now I'll go ahead and turn it over to Ms. Kia Robinson Hatfield.
Thank you so much, Margaret. And I'm going to follow suit and turn my camera off too. Thank you everyone for participating in today's session and for your interest in free community festivals produced by the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation. While there are, of course, many different aspects that make festivals wonderful, the vendors are a core part of a festival experience. So today I'm going to talk to you about how you can participate in the Foundation's free community festivals, particularly the fall festivals, and how to make your application stand out amongst the many that apply. So a little bit about the Foundation is that we are the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival and Foundation. We exist to celebrate and sustain Louisiana culture. We are the nonprofit organization that owns Jazz Fest, although we do not produce the festival itself. That is done on our behalf by our colleagues at Festival Productions. The Foundation's role is to invest funds made from Jazz Fest directly into Louisiana communities, all 64 parishes. So while Jazz Fest is without a doubt our most visible event, the Foundation works year-round to produce programs and initiatives that serve our community. We teach, we build, we celebrate. And we like to think of our work in three buckets: education, economic development, and cultural enrichment. So it sounds simple when you kind of put it in those three buckets, but it's really a lot of work. So some of our programs include a free music education program for kids 8 to 18 called the Don Luce Jameson Heritage School of Music. Our community partnership grants, which we give grants out upwards of $7,500 to people doing various works across Louisiana. Our community outreach ticket program, which is our free Jazz Fest ticket program that serves under-resourced communities and individuals. And we also produce several concerts a year and 4 free community festivals, including the Congo Square Rhythms Festival, which actually happens next weekend, March 28th and 29th in Armstrong Park. If you are interested in seeing how the foundation's festivals go, how they're produced, come out to this one. It's free admission, and it's a beautiful homage to New Orleans and the African diaspora. So come on out to that festival if you're interested. We also produce the Louisiana Cajun Zydeco Festival that happens May 30th and May 31st. And that is, of course, celebration of Cajun and Zydeco music. It's all local people. And then we also have the Crescent City Blues and Barbecue Festival and the Treme Creole Gumbo Festival, which is what I'm going to talk to you about today, our fall festivals. You may have noticed that all of our festivals have a theme around music and or food and are essentially little slices of our big festival. They are like mini jazz fests that happen throughout the year and our commitment to giving back to the community. So, that our mission, part of our mission is to hire local regional performances, hire local gig workers, bring in local vendors and so that the state and the city can reap the economic benefits for us right here at home. So to reiterate, we acknowledge that vendors are not just in place to sell product, they are actually helping carry culture forward. So with that, I'm going to get into Blues Fest. Food and craft vendor applications will open for both Blues and Treme Creole Gumbo Festival on Monday, and they will close Friday, June 12th. A little bit about Blues Fest. This will be our 20th year. It was established in 2006, right after Katrina, and it was answering a call to employ local musicians and gig workers, while also giving an opportunity for local food and craft vendors. This is a 3-day festival, 2 stages, and it's free admission. Friday, October 9th is kind of like a nice after work gathering from 5:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. and then Saturday and Sunday, 11 to 8:30. So this festival has an attendance between 15 to 18,000 individuals. It is local, of course, but is a large population of visitors that come in. And they come from all over, international, national, states nearby and far. It is a very large out of town crowd that comes into this festival. We also have a VIP section that they like to take advantage of. So it's a really nice festival. Let's see here. So our Blues Fest vendor application process, we look for a combination of traditional Southern barbecue, non-traditional grilled and smoked foods, as well as traditional vegan and vegetarian options. On-site grilling is absolutely encouraged. We find that when vendors are grilling on site, it just attracts a crowd. It's like, bees to honey. The crowds line up for that vendor. We're looking for vendors who can offer dishes that represent various states and cities and countries, Texas, Tennessee, Jamaica, the Carolinas, of course, Louisiana, traditional barbecue that we love here. The vendor criteria used in consideration, always wholesome food made from scratch. We do not prefer prepackaged non-fresh food. If you can buy Louisiana, great. How well the food fits into the festival's theme. We base it also on, we do test tastings. So we base it on the test tasting results from a blind jury. Menu diversity and creativity, and of course, a vendor's festival preparedness, meaning, are you ready to accommodate for a crowd of this festival size? And this festival is not the biggest by any stretch of the mean, but it is a food festival and people do come to eat. And so they are lined up to purchase food. Our festival starts at 11 and they are at your booth at 10:45. They are ready to eat. So, we require our vendors to be at temperature, ready to go well before, I want to say maybe at least 30 minutes before the festival starts. Now, our savory vendors and dessert vendors have have different requirements. Savory is obviously going to have a bit more to their application. We provide a 10 by 20 space. We provide the steel for that space, and you can only sell savory foods. For dessert vendors, the fee is much lower, but you bring your own 10 by 10 flame retardant tent, and you only sell desserts. We try to keep those two things separate. Savory vendors sell savory foods, dessert vendors sell desserts. Application and timeline of notification. All vendors, regardless of their past participation, must apply to our festivals. And then once an application is successfully received and reviewed, our food vendor coordinator, who's actually on this call, shout out to Ms. Janice, she will contact you and invite you to a food tasting based on your proposed menu items. And then you see here when our dates, our application is due this summer, and then the tasting, notifications, orientation, and fest load-in. For this festival, because we're in the CBD, we have restrictions on how early we can set up. And so unfortunately, it is the first day of the festival, but in the morning. And that's because of all the office buildings around. We have a restriction on what we can and can't do. So we like to respect our neighbors in that area. Oops, I think I skipped over. Vendor fees for this festival, savory vendor fees are $16.50 with a $500 refundable deposit, an asterisk on refundable. If your booth space is left clean, no grease stains, no mess, then you get your deposit back. If we have to go in and do additional cleaning of your space or throw away any of your waste, grease, or anything like that, then we keep that deposit. Dessert vendors are 500. Their fee is $500, and I can tell you, as producing this festival for well over a decade, vendors make this food vendor fee back 3 times over, more than that. They make it. I don't even know what but it's definitely more than that. For our craft vendors, our art market is very competitive for this festival because we have limited space. We are in Lafayette Square Park. There are 22 spaces available, and we do seek out the best local and regional makers of handcrafted artwork, furnishings, jewelry, and other crafts. We do not allow imported goods in this festival. It's all handcrafted art. The craft vendor fee is $200, and the application is due on Friday, March 12th, in line with the other festivals. Moving on to the Treme Creole Gumbo Festival. This is our 18th anniversary. This festival was established in 2008. And again, answering the call to support local musicians and gig workers, creating opportunities for food and craft vendors. Treme Creole Gumbo Festival celebrates Treme, this neighborhood. It is, of course, honoring the musical and culinary traditions born from the people who call this neighborhood home. So it takes place in Armstrong Park and features all local Louisiana talent. And all of our events are rain or shine. This is a 2-day festival. It's just one stage and, of course, free admission. Saturday, November 14th and Sunday, November 15th, 11 to 7:30 p.m. 10 to 15,000 locals and visitors. We do see a lot of folks come from out of town for this festival, but it is largely local, and a nice international crowd that comes in too. They plan trips around these festivals. Our food vendor application is quite similar to Blues. You must have, fit with your menu should fit the theme of the festival. We're looking for traditional gumbos, unique gumbos, twist-on gumbos, as well as other food items that can support your menu. The food curation leans heavily on New Orleans food, obviously from the name of the festival. And what we're looking for in consideration is wholesome food, again, made from scratch, how well the food fits into the festival's theme, your tasting results, festival preparedness, menu diversity, and creativity. So with this festival, you have to have at least one gumbo because it's in the title of the festival. But also we lean into other food items, jambalayas, etouffees, um, redfish we've seen out there. We've seen the gamut with this festival, and we get some really interesting menus that really celebrate Louisiana fare. Again, foods, savory vendors will be provided a 10 by 20 space. We pay for the steel. You can only sell savory from your booth. And then dessert vendors, you bring your own 10 by 10 flame retardant pop-up tent, and you can only sell desserts from that booth. This festival also has a cooking demo tent, which is really popular. We invite food vendors and outside chefs to come in and prepare gumbo on camera. This tent, you can't see it from this picture, but this crowd goes all the way back to the sidewalk by the arch in Armstrong Park. It is very popular. We should probably get a bigger tent, but it's a very popular tent, and people love to come in and hear the chef's storytelling about their traditions and how they make gumbos. They often add in their own stories, um, and how they grew up making gumbo or how their parents grew up making gumbo. Application and timeline of notification. It's due again June 12th. Ms. Janice our food vendor coordinator will reach out to you to conduct a tasting if you're a new vendor, or if you're doing a new food item. And this festival, we have a little bit more time to play with. So the festival load-in would be the day before the festival starts. We do have overnight security for all of our festivals. So your equipment, I like to tell people, bring home with you what you don't want taken, but we do have overnight security that roams the grounds. It's multiple that roam the grounds and make sure that nobody comes in and does anything, naughty. Our craft vendors is much like Blues Fest vendors, except the fee is different. For this festival, we do allow imported items. So handcrafted artworks, jewelry, home furnishings, and we do allow imported items. Craft vendors need to bring their own flame retardant 10 by 10 pop-up tent, and we'll work with a team to ensure proper setup. Our craft vendor operations is managed by Ella Project. That's G. Manere. He's our craft vendor coordinator. So if you know him, he's your guy to talk to about what's a good application. I should say that we also, for the craft vendor applications, we do ask for pictures of setup. We ask for, I think it's 3 pictures actually, of what you're selling, and then a booth shot of what your booth looks like. And it's so important when you are putting this application, any of these applications together, because we ask for pictures for food as well. Having um, a nice image of the product you have, because you think of it from a person who does not know you or your business. This is their first impression of you. So having a blurry picture of ribs, or a art item, a craft or something where we can't tell what it is, or it's highly pixelated, or not high res enough, it will make the process a little bit more difficult. And when you have dozens and dozens and dozens of applications, and there's somebody who has um, clearer pictures, it's easier to just kind of go in that other direction. So I would say make sure that you have nice, clear pictures. That's for any jurying or application that you're submitting to. And finally, just to kind of go back on, uh, for craft vendors, what we are looking for with vendors. For blues, it's handmade original artwork. We don't allow imports for that festival, but for Treme, handmade original artwork, and we do allow imports for that festival. We have a strong preference for cultural relevance to Louisiana and locally inspired. So think of the theme of the festival. For blues, some really good applications or vendors that we've seen have come in. They fit within the theme of that festival. It's barbecue, it's New Orleans, Louisiana. Um, and so you see, as far as crafts go, you see people coming in with who make guitars. You see um, visually beautiful oil camp paintings and you name it. It just, a big caveat is that it fits within the festival theme. For Blues Fest, it's blues and barbecue. So obviously you want to have barbecue on your menu. I can't tell you how many applications we get where it's fried foods, carnival foods, nothing to do with barbecue. That is the meat, if you will, of the festival. And as far as food for blues, we're looking for, you name it, ribs, burgers, chicken, seafood, vegetables, vegan, vegetarian options, because meat eaters will also eat the vegetarian and vegan options. So something for everybody. We lean very strongly and have a very strong commitment to sustainability. So we do ban plastics serviceware, especially like the little packets, the little plastic packets of like the fork, spoon, and knife that come together in a little plastic thing. We uh, we do not allow those in our festivals. We are stewards of places like Lafayette Square Park and Armstrong Park, and we respect the earth and especially the wildlife that lives in these areas. So we want to leave it better than when we found it. So part of that is to making sure that we encourage our vendors or require our vendors to use compostable containers, paper or wood utensils, and then just environmentally responsible materials. All vendor expectation are expected to have high quality product, efficient service. Lines will be long, but a clean and organized booth, an ability to handle high volume crowds. People will stand in a line for good food and good service. Applications are reviewed based on quality and fit with the festival in a variety across vendors. So we're gonna make sure for Treme that there may be some repetition in food, but we're not gonna have, for instance, 8 different types of chicken and sausage gumbo. We need to see the variety in the menu. And mind you, you're supplementing your menus with things like jambalaya, fried chicken, baked chicken, red fish, whatever it may be. So you apply with a really strong menu. And if you do have questions about the menu before you hit submit on your application, we're always open for a phone call because there is quite a bit of menu curation conversations that happen before we get to the stage of submitting your application. A strong application for food vendors would be a focus menu, so not too large, clear alignment with the festival's theme, a signature dish that stands out. We had one vendor for Treme Gumbo Fest last year introduced what they call a barbecue gumbo, and it was smoked meats that went into the gumbo. It was delicious, and they got into Blues Fest with that because it is a barbecue. It was barbecue. The meat is grilled and smoked, absolutely delicious, and he sold out. They sold out on the first day of the festival. Um, and ability to execute at scale. So making sure you don't run out of product, making sure that you have enough that you're able to or at least have resources to go back and get more if you're running low on product. For craft vendors, what makes a strong application, original handwork, and if you do have imports, something that is something that is you know, not repeated all throughout the festival. A clear cultural connection. Our festivals are all very cultural and very tied to this city and state. Strong visuals or descriptions of art and a cohesive brand or story. So overall, you want to make sure that reviewers understand what you do, how it fits, and how you'll deliver. A common mistake that we see is for food vendors is too many menu items. Um, like a weak connection to the festival theme. So you have gumbo, but there's nothing on your menu. I mean, we have a gumbo fest, but there's nothing on your menu that is gumbo. You won't get in. Incomplete applications and not clearly describing your setup or products that you are coming into the festival with. So with that, this is some of the areas that we place advertising for our festivals. We do national advertising as well as local, support local always. With any and all of our events and festivals, you will get exposure through the foundation's marketing, social media promotion, and we have a lot of repeat audiences, so visibility in front of them. It's also just alignment with a very trusted cultural institution as far as festivals go. So, the big picture here is that you're not just vending, you're building your brand within the jazz and heritage ecosystem. And these are also some of WWOZ is owned by the foundation. So we do tons of advertising through OC. WWNO is a great partner, as well as BOK, and then WWL is our media partner. And that's pretty much it. To recap, Blues is a free festival, a 3-day festival produced by the foundation. It's in Lafayette Square Park. Thousands of attendees, including locals and visitors. And vendors are a central part of this festival experience. It's a barbecue festival, and we lean into to that culinary tradition in New Orleans. Treme Creole Gumbo Festival is also free, family friendly, produced by the foundation, and it's held in Armstrong Park in the Treme. And it celebrates Creole cuisine, gumbo, and all the New Orleans and Louisiana and indigenous food traditions that we see in Creole tradition. And yes, gumbo is the heart of the festival. So to get in touch with us, you can email programs@jazzandheritage.org and is spelled out. You can also reach us at vendors with an S at jazzandheritage.org. Our website is www.jazzandheritage.org. And I appreciate you for hanging with me and listening to me talk. My name is Kia Robinson Hatfield, and I appreciate everything you do.
Thank you so much for that. That was a lot of details. Just want to remind everybody, if you have any questions, to put it in a chat box, and we'll get to those when times permit. I'll turn it over now to Miss Tangi Wall with the New Orleans East Festival.
Okay. Let's see.
And do I share now?
Yes.
Okay. And tell me if you can see it.
Yes.
Okay.
This is Deshae Greeley, our secretary for Friends of Joe W. Brown Park and New Orleans East Matters. This is a partnership festival in New Orleans East at Joe W. Brown Memorial Park. This is our 5th year, so we're relatively, a young festival, but we felt that the East needed to have family-friendly events to attract entertainment, local artists. Last year was really a great year because we introduced the gospel tent, which is something that we had not had originally. We've had youth entertainment. This is a very family friendly event in September. We chose September because I guess maybe when you look at October with so many festivals for the fall, we wanted to have a venue and a time maybe where we could attract better attendance, where we were not competing with the other festivals that are traditional and have been in existence for quite a few years. So the purpose for this, I guess, meeting for us is to, you know, attract additional vendors, to open it up to other areas of the city, not just New Orleans East. And our theme has been building bridges to a better future, which we're trying to embrace and I guess maybe welcome all cultures, not just in the East, showcasing the East, but throughout the city. And we've got recently an application in for a Lake Forest Cultural District, which ties into what we provide all year in our community. And the festival is the highlight of all of these things, which are economic corridor of Reed and Lake Forest, are really centrally located to the economic growth of New Orleans East. So the purpose for this festival is to embrace all cultures that we have in New Orleans East, but also to expand that reach to the entire city, to attract more entertainment, local entertainment, jazz, the different genres of music are welcome. Like I said, gospel is something that we started last year. It was a huge success, and we will do that again. Have a gospel tent in addition to our jazz and old school and blues and youth entertainment. This festival, as I said too, it's a fundraiser for us, for our community, for economic growth. We have coming probably by the end of this year, if not sooner, a carousel, which is a piece of fine cultural artistry that exists in every other regional park other than Joe Brown. So the festival became a fundraiser to assist with the operation and maintenance of a carousel. And we were very fortunate to be granted a grant from the Mellon Foundation the last couple of years to get it started. And so I am just so proud to announce that the construction of this custom made carousel is underway right now in Joe W. Brown Park. And if you're familiar with the park, it's near the tennis center. There's an outer field that's really the central part of the park. So we are able to use that field and also across the parking lot, it's an open field, which was at one time a soccer field, which is very vast. And that's where we hold our jazz stage for the main entertainment. We're also looking for artists. Last year, we were graced with Jaron Beasley. I know he's known as Jaron the Jerk, and he really did a beautiful rendering of the New Orleans East community, all of our different amenities, the forestry, what used to exist as the former Six Flags site, which is now Bayou Phoenix, and the Lincoln Beach site, and all of the lakes. It was just such a pleasure to see how well that was received. And this was something totally new for our festival venue. In addition to that, we welcomed youth entertainment in terms of certain rap stars and young people who are popular, Roy Anthony and those folks. So that increased our participation. So what we're looking for is growth, the growth of our community, but also attendance and participation by local artists and vendors and musicians throughout the city, and hoping that this will become um, a festival like any other part of the city that has a tradition and that is very welcoming. Joe W. Brown Park, it's approximately 225 acres, including the Audubon, Louisiana Nature Center, which is adjacent to the park. And what we're hoping to do is to embrace more artwork. Currently, we have murals that have been commissioned in the park on certain shelters. And certainly, this carousel will be a major, major landmark and a piece of history in cultural artistry. Nearby is the New Orleans East Library, which also participates. So we build partnerships with those surrounding landmarks that are adjacent to the park. We also have Greater St. Stephen's Church, Full Gospel Baptist Church across Reed Boulevard. And that church sponsored the gospel entertainment. So it really worked so well, hand in hand with our various partners. We also include our corporate giants, of which Folgers was a major part of that, and hoping again that they will be the primary and premier sponsor for this festival. But they have become a real trademark for us, and we really appreciate our industrial corridor giant in Folgers that they are embracing the community of New Orleans East, which has been a struggle, quite frankly and honestly, through the years after Katrina. But this festival represents resilience, sustainability, and the drive and the willingness to be a feature that's like all of the other festivals, which this city of New Orleans is very much known for its various and diverse festivals. I listened to Kia talk about the Treme Creole Gumbo, festival, for example, having that tradition and being a part of knowing how to, I guess, maybe organize and what to look for if your festival has a certain signature item, that it's important to really feature that item. And I certainly did get a lot of valuable information from Kia. This is our first time, on the call, so I'm not sure what other elements you may need to hear from us. Deshay has put together a little presentation. Mainly, our information is shared from our website, friendsofjoewbrown.org, and usually we'll have our information listed. Right now, let's see, the fifth year, I'm not sure if the website may have all of the updated information yet, but I can tell you that this year's festival will be Saturday, September the 26th. 2026. And generally, it's a one-day festival, hoping to grow, but it is only one day at this point. Expense is definitely a consideration, and sponsorships and vendor participation are critical for us. And we generally provide tents, 10 by 10 tents for our vendors of food and arts and crafts and information. And we expect maybe full participation and payment of vendor fees, usually 2 months in advance of the festival date. What we're looking at this year is July 31st to have vendor application complete, and also, the fee. Anything else to share? I know that you're probably showing a little bit of the site.
Okay, Ms. Deshay is on mute. I know
Okay.
she did share with me the application, and of course, once again, all handouts provided to me, I will share out to everyone on this call. So at this time, if okay, there's the
The
application.
Yeah.
vendor, yes, there
So,
it is. Okay.
yeah. So the fees and the due date, most of this information would be on the website, um, where the vendors can go on the website and fill out the application and pay the fees. And Tangi, we're similar to where we try to have a merit of different vendors
Yes.
and uniquely needs to the festival and not duplicate a lot because of the space. Maybe I don't know if we have as much space as others, but we try to have a flavor of different vendors for craft food and entertainment.
And that's right. What we try to do is limit, especially like the food items. It's very important for vendors to list the food items, which we allow perhaps three, maybe four in some cases, if it's really specialized, of food products, because we really don't want to have an abundance of one kind of food. So we really try to be very diverse in the in that type of thing. Also, crafts is a very open area, and we're really looking to grow that area, particularly with a variety of crafts. Information is usually very well received. Resource information, medical and health information is always a good thing because it provides additional service information that's in our area. So those are the things too that we support very heavily.
Okay. And our attendance, what was it last year, Tangi? It's growing, I know that.
It's growing from the first year. I think we may have had about maybe 4,000 last year
Mm-hmm.
because of the gospel tent and also the youth entertainment, which was, a really good mix for us to add.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Any questions?
I do have a question in the chat box, and actually, if you would like to come on, you could ask your question and maybe give them a little more detail.
Yes, how you doing? I was wondering for this is for all three festivals actually, for both organizations. I was wondering if there were any opportunities to like contract for groundskeeping. I could step up the groundskeeping, make sure that everything is clean and be the company that does that. I was hoping that if like I'm talking to the wrong people, that hopefully I could like get like an email address and perhaps send a proposal to the right people.
For us, Deshay,
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in the
yes, put it
chat.
in the chat because this is also a NORD facility. And, very often they have a part in the cleanup, but we welcome your application because we are responsible too for much of the cleanup concerning the festival.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're
I
welcome. Thank you.
I just put the foundation's information also in the chat. You can reach out. I put 2 email addresses there for you.
Okay, thank you both. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. You're welcome.
Do we have any other questions? I actually have a question. So if someone was interested in being a vendor at this time, is it too late to try to get into your events, or they still have time?
Absolutely. For the NOLA East Festival, you do have time. Applications can be received now. It's just that the payment, we try to get all of the fees paid by July 31st. That would be the deadline.
Okay.
Okay.
And for Treme Creole Gumbo and Congo Square Rhythms, I'm sorry, Crescent City Blues and Barbecue Festivals, um, those applications, they're technically open now, but it will become public on Monday. So absolutely not too late, and can't wait to see the applications come in.
Yes, and I'll definitely share that presentation, which has all that information in there. So if we don't have any more questions, I think you both did an awesome job with all the information that you provide to definitely get everybody prepared if they want to either, join your, come and enjoy your festivals, or if they want to actually participate in them. So I thank you both very, very much for that.
You're most welcome. We're
Thank you
proud
so
to
much.
be on this call. We're very
Yeah,
pleased that we were
yeah,
invited.
Yes.
absolutely.
And thank everybody else. Thank you all for joining us. Really appreciate that. It shows us that you have an interest in, in your business community, and you want to be participants in, things that's going on. I do see another question now. It's Miss Sherilyn. You want to come on and ask your question?
Okay, I think y'all answered it. I just wanted to get the information for where we would go to complete the vendor applications for the different festivals.
Okay, well, I could actually answer that. In the presentation, I'm not sure if you joined kind of late, but they had all the processes and where you can get the application. So what I'll do is I'll share that tomorrow with everyone that participated in this meeting today. So you'll
Okay,
have all that information, and we'll also, have the video where the recording, you could go back and, listen to things that you may have missed.
And Marguerite,
Appreciate it.
do you share that? I know you've had other meetings prior to us, and I believe you went by those who were interested in the festivals that you presented each day. With what you've shared, is that going to be shared with everyone across the 3 days, or just the ones who was interested in these festivals today?
Right. So whoever joined the meeting today, you all will get a follow-up email tomorrow. Now
okay,
the recordings are on a YouTube channel, so you could go back and you could watch recordings from 2023 or 22 if you want. So all of that is, available to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Now, if individuals weren't able to make the meeting today, and they emailed me and let me know, hey, I wasn't able to make it. Can you email me the presentation? Then I'll definitely, send it to them also.
Okay. And
okay,
again, the audience that was for the other two meetings, you wouldn't be sending our information to them, only those who were interested for today, if you understand what I'm asking.
Correct.
Okay.
okay.
I think we have one other one. What is the date for the Crescent City Blues Festival? Oh, she put it in the chat. October the 9th through the 11th at Lafayette Square Park. So again, I would like to thank Miss Kia and Miss Tangi for taking the time out to be with us today. And thank you all for joining. Within 5 to 10 business days, this session will be available on the Office of Economic Development's YouTube channel. This concludes our festival series. Please keep your eye out for future business sessions. We look forward to having you again. And don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions for me. And again, if you know of anyone that missed it and may have want to receive this information, just email me and I'll definitely forward it over to them. So everyone have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much.
Thank you,
Bye-bye, everyone.
everyone.
Bye bye.
You.